Well, good day to all of you. So we're going to have a tutorial on how to create an account in AutoCAD TinkerCAD and at the same time create a simple circuit diagram using its circuit features. So in your browser, let's start. So let's type tinkercad.com. Okay, let's wait for it to be loaded. Okay, so we're already on the page of the tinkercad.com. So tinkercad is developed by Autodesk. It is an online platform where you can create the circuit diagram, can simulate, you can also code. And then another feature of tinkercad is for 3D printing, 3D model and designing. Unfortunately, tinkercad is only available online, specifically for PCs, but it can also be accessed using your mobile or Android phones, smartphones, and tablets. The only problem is, of course, the accessibility, and it's easier to do wiring diagrams in a PC than using our mobile phones. So actually, that's the disadvantage. And up until now, there is no offline installer and there is no application ready for Android or Android phones. So that's where we're waiting for Autodesk to create one. So if you're the first time user of TinkerCAD, so you have to click the join now. So okay, let's click join now. So start tinkering. How will you use TinkerCAD? So it is asking you, is it going to be used in school? So educators start here or click here and then students join a class. So these two options, it's like Google Classroom where educators can create a class just like in the Google Classroom and then students can join a class. But we don't need this feature as of now because what we need to do is creating a simple circuit diagram in TinkerCAD. So we're going to create a personal account in TinkerCAD. So let's click create a personal account. So how will you create your account? You have many options here. Sign up with a generic email or not enumerated from the choices. So we have sign in with Google, sign in with Apple, sign in with Microsoft, and sign in with Facebook. So for you, it is recommended to use the school domain email account because for these educational platforms, there are educational platforms that when you signed in or signed up using your school domain email account, you will have freebies or a free access to exclusive contents of that educational platform. So let's start with sign in with Google. Okay, let's wait it to be loaded. Again, the page. Okay, so if you're using a PC and you're always using that same email account, if you've already logged in, for example, in Gmail, it will already be reflected here. But then again, I already have an account in TinkerCAD, so if I'm going to continue this one, there will be a notification that I've already used this email address. So let's just like any other application for sign ups, they have the same procedure. Okay, so let's go back. For example, if you already have an account, okay, let's go back here. Okay, we are redirected again. Okay, if you already have a TinkerCAD account, let's click sign in. And then, of course, sign in with Google because I use the school domain email account for signing in this platform. Okay, click the email address. Okay, again, let's wait for the page to load. Okay, so I'm already inside my account. This is the dashboard for personal account in TinkerCAD. So as you can see in the left part, of course, my profile, and then we have the 3D design, circuits, code blocks, and lessons. This is for just like in the Google Classroom. What we're concerned here, of course, is we're going to create a simple circuit wiring diagram. So let's go here to this portion. And since you're already new, you have to click create new circuit. I've already made a very simple project here to test this application. So all of your saved projects will be displayed here. Again, let's create new circuit. Okay, let's wait again. So this is the workspace for the TinkerCAD. Okay, so we have this. Okay, this is the auto-generated file name of TinkerCAD. You can change it later. So actually, their generated names differ from every time you create a new project. So this one is Smooth Lilo. Okay, you can change it later because, so for example, if you want to have a project that describes the function, you can put it in your file name. Okay, so we have basic. So if you want to display all the components, just click all. And then what are we going to use? What is the circuit diagram that we're going to imitate? So this one. So let's just remember the components. So we have one Arduino Uno board, a breadboard, and then an LED, red LED to be exact, and a resistor, and then two wires. Then again, depending on the setup, you could use two or more wires. Okay, let's get back again to our workspace. So again, we need an Arduino board. Okay, let's browse. Okay, so we have an Arduino board here. Just click and hold and drag. So we already have an Arduino board. Example, you dragged a wrong component. What are you going to do? It's just easy. Just click on it and then delete, and then TinkerCAD will have a message. It says here, you are about to delete one or more programmable components from your design. Any code that you have written for these components will be permanently lost and will not be restored by undo. Are you sure you want to continue? Since, for example, you accidentally dragged it in the workspace, just click OK. And then, of course, it will be removed. Okay, going back with our Arduino Uno, okay, it will appear the name Arduino UNO R3 and then the name. We're not going to be concerned for this one first because what the important thing that we're going to do is we have to create a circuit diagram for the LED and a resistor and one or two wires or more. Okay, next is we have breadboard. But before we click the breadboard, we also have another feature. What if you want to really imitate this um, illustration? You can do so by rotating it. Just click it again to select it and then rotate it. Okay. Then you can drag it. I will not rotate it because actually for the LED, because if you're going to rotate it all, especially also the breadboard, you're going to rotate also all of the components. So again, let's get back to the default. Okay, default position of the Arduino Uno. Okay, so we have this one. And then we need a breadboard. Let's drag it again here. Okay, so we already have a breadboard. Okay, breadboard small. Okay, Okay, so we have this breadboard. Okay, you can zoom in and zoom out of your workspace by using the scroll wheel of the mouse. Okay, so we have already, again, an Arduino UNO R3 and a breadboard. And then what is the other component? So we have a red LED. Okay, so we have this LED. Okay, you could put it anywhere. Okay, actually you could change the color of your LED here. Cool. You can already change it. It doesn't need to have, the default is red, but you can change the color depending on the needs of your project. Okay, so then let's go back again with red. Okay, let's zoom in and then drag to, okay, we have noticed here for the LED, we have a slightly crooked wire. So this is called the anode, as a reminder that anode must be connected to the source, to the positive or the 5 volts. And then we have this one, on the left side is the cathode, in which you're going to connect it to the negative or um, to the ground. Okay. And then we also have a resistor. Okay, let's look. Okay, we have this resistor. Okay, drag it here. Why do we need to drag it in the anode? Because LED has a tendency to draw more power until it burns out. So by using a resistor, you are reducing, or you're actually prolonging the life of the LED. Okay, you can specify what is the resistance. For example, let's specify 330 for our example. Okay, as you can see, if it is 1, it has this correct color coding, and then if you have to change it into 330, then it will also change depending on the value of the resistor that you have uh, put in the text box for resistance. Okay. Okay, next is we have to wire it now. Okay, it's very easy to wire it in TinkerCAD because you have to just to select the point in the breadboard. Okay, and then since this is for positive, okay, this is for positive, look for the positive 5 volts. So this is the one. You can start here or you could start here at the point. Or you could provide for a very good wiring diagram design. Okay, we have the 5 volts here. Then select it here and then, okay. You could also change the color of the wire since 5 volts is red. You could make it red. Okay. Okay, meaning if you connected it in here, all of the points here of the breadboard corresponds to the 5 volts. So you could connect many devices as you want, because this is already corresponds to all the 5 positive or the 5 volts. Okay, so we already have, and then okay, for the ground, so this is the ground, and then you have it to connect it here in with the minus sign. Okay, what color? So let's just follow the standard. Since the negative or the ground is black, just make it black. Okay, so we already have for the 5 volts for positive and ground for the negative. Okay, how are we going to wire this one to connect? Of course, as I've already said, since this is the anode, this should be connected to the positive or the 5 volts or to the source. Okay, so let's create this point and then click it in here to the positive. Okay, then you can change the color or not. Okay, let's make it state into green color of the wire. And then for the cathode, okay, it's not a problem for breadboards. Actually, the connection is cut in the middle. So for you to For example, this is possible because the resistor is the one connecting the point here to point there, so there's still a connection. So for it to work, for example, if you click it in here, and then for the negative, for example, it will not work because there is no connection between this pin and then this one, because the middle separates the points of the breadboard. Okay, so again, let's click it in here, and then let's click it again, and then we have to delete it. Okay, so what is the proper configuration? So you can click it in here or in here for the point. Okay, let's drag and then to the ground. Okay, and then just change color just to distinguish. Okay, let's choose, for example, yellow. So, okay, so this is actually our wiring diagram. Maybe you can notice, ma'am, why is it only two wires? Because for the fritzing, you can bend the wires of the LED. For TinkerCAD, it is not possible. You just needed to connect wires. Actually, there's no problem if your project does not look like the actual illustration. But you have to keep in mind that at least the configuration or the proper connection is set up. The output is just the same. So, okay. Actually, all the changes that you have done in the workspace are all saved. Okay, so you already have that. So you could change actually its file name. For example, is we have um, Arduino exercise 1. Example for it. Okay. Or let's just be descriptive if you want to. Arduino with one LED and resistor. Okay. To make it more descriptive. Then press enter and then it will change. You can change it in any way, in any file name that you want. Okay, so we're already done here. So let's click in a TinkerCAD logo, and then we'll go back to the dashboard. As you can see, your project is already there. And then if you want to edit it, you can click Tinker this to edit or modify your project. Okay, wait for it to be loaded. Okay, again, you can edit again your project. Okay, let's go back for what are other features, for example, for your project. Okay, for your settings, you can click on the properties. So you can also change your file name here, and then you could also give a description and then tags if it is applicable. Okay, for privacy, you could click it public if you want other thinkers to see your work, specifically what if you have done a design, a very complex design that it works, that you want to share to the public, you could do so. But for now, you could set it to private. And then for the license, do you want it to have of course, the recommended is public domain, since Arduino is a public domain. And then cancel, or if you want to change, of course, you want to save the changes, you have to click save changes. So there's also since this is private, no one can see your work. But then again, if you make it public, they can comment, or they can like or heart or love your project. So you can put comments. So this is okay. This is indicated here. This is an original of Arduino with one LED and resistor by Blanca Flor Arada. So there are no comments since it is private. So we also have, you can add an image for the thumbnail of your project and then simulate. We could learn later how to simulate your wire if your connection is really working properly. So again, so this is the dashboard for the TinkerCAD. And then if you do not have anything to do anymore with your workspace and dashboard for the TinkerCAD, so it's a good internet practice to always log out all your accounts to prevent hackers to hack, of course, your personal accounts. So we have log out. And then we are already again in the page of TinkerCAD. So I hope with this tutorial you have learned something new. Specifically, TinkerCAD is a relatively new software, and it's a very big help specifically for persons who cannot avail or afford the actual Arduino board. You could use this, but the only downside is you have to have an internet connection for you to access the TinkerCAD online platform. So if you do not have any questions, so thank you for listening. So please stay tuned for all other tutorials that I will be posting in my channel. Thank you very much and good day.